and we're back to Merley Players. Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Jordan Vanderbeak. To my left is Vicente McPeek.
aka Worf Jostar. We're going to be taking a, break every 10 minutes. This is our first show, and we just want to make sure the quality is good, and just please bear with us. I mean, we do have sexy voices, don't we, Jordan?
Oh, I brought that up in a job interview the other day. That was bad.
Oh.
I said to him, he's like, so, how do you resolve tensions on the job? If someone comes up with complaints, and I kind of froze during the headlights moments. It was a walk-in interview, so I'll just call and follow up and hopefully get something. But I was like, sometimes I can summon a sexy baritone. It was bad. It was bad.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Flirting?
maybe they're looking for Barry White or
Well,
Isaac Hayes or something.
well, we were talking about you just ended about characters, Gears of War, Coltrane. You want to elaborate more about Gears and what's a bad example of a character not being written in a good way? No build up.
Well, not necessarily a character not being written in a good way, but a character who's kind of shallowly explored is Marcus Phoenix, the player one main character, the guy with the bandana and all the unexplained scars. And part of this is just because he's the main force of narrative push. He's the main guy who's saying, okay, Delta Squad, we gotta go over here. We gotta go over here. We gotta go over here. And, I mean, that's kind of needed sometimes in narrative in video games, I guess. But, a big thing they do to try to characterize him is they start him out in the first game and in the third game where he's in a prison cell. And, or in the third game he's in the brig, correct? Or is
Yeah,
that ever really explained?
Well, he was in a dream, and the dream was reminiscent to the first game, which he was in the jail. Instead of the first game, he was saved by Dominic. Not really saved, but he opened the doors. And in the third game, I think it was Anya, wasn't it? And that was it was like a flashback, but it was different. And so now you're like, whoa, what's going on here? But
yeah, but I mean, part of this is him being in prison is a symbolic shortcut. It's a thematic shortcut. It's this idea that he did something wrong, therefore he's in prison because prison is where bad people go. But that's not inherently interesting, and that's something that I feel is kind of a narrative shortfall.
What
I mean,
do you
because
mean not interesting?
all right, because what happens is when you show a character just being in prison without actually having him talk about the prison experience, you bring up this whole notion that for those of us who don't have someone who's immediately related to the prison system, or immediately in the prison system, either as a guard or something else, it's easy to dismiss those who are incarcerated as people who who pose an immediate harm to the fabric of our society as miscreants and wrongdoers. I mean, of course, some people who are in prison do harm and take pleasure in doing harm, but those kinds of people exist in everyday life too. I mean, we've all had bad bosses. We've all had that jerk at work, and many of those people just get stuck, make a bad choice, get stuck again, make another bad choice.
You saying Marcus? Well, Marcus went in jail because he was trying to help his father.
Yeah,
a little bit was sand, some of it wasn't. Maybe, I think the implication they were trying to get was that he was wrongfully sent in there.
Yeah,
but
that's
then
still
in the third one. He said he made a mistake because he did all but disobeyed all these rules, and then he still didn't save his father.
Yeah, no. I'm not arguing that at all.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that prison is used here as a kind of place where either people are correctly imprisoned or they are wrongfully imprisoned. Prison is not a location. It's not a complex tool. It's a thematic shortcut. saying, hey, either this guy is noble and he sacrificed himself, or this guy's
Oh.
wrongdoing and a villain. And that in itself is not interesting to me. It's actually kind of knee jerk and very boring to me. Um,
To start off the game.
yeah, well, no, not just to start off the game, just having a prison that's not a complex environment. Because prison is incredibly, incredibly complex. There are power dynamics at play all the time, like all
You
this kind
know,
of stuff.
I thought, okay, I really didn't really agree with you, but you're right. Prisons are complex. When in the first game, you save Marcus in that prison, and then you go out and there's like no one there. Like
Yeah,
it was him and I guess a couple of wrenches up on it was like I think it was a locust, and that's all you know. And
yeah,
then Dominic saves you. There's nobody else, just like decay, uh, destroyed building, and then you get out, and it wasn't. You're right. It wasn't really explored. Um, I feel like they could make it a little bit more better, uh, especially the location. I mean, if the location was like a majority huge prison, it should be a lot of a lot of places.
well, no, no, no. And I'm not talking complex as in the level design. I'm not talking complex as in
But
like.
the you mean the character
I mean,
personality?
I mean, prison is a really complex, difficult place. I'll bring up another example soon, but I mean, there was this play written in 1975 by Miguel Pinheiro called Short Eyes. There's a 1977 movie based on it, in which prison is the main setting. Prison's the only setting, and there's an individual who is incarcerated for being a child molester. That's where the title "Short Eyes" comes from,
Okay.
because that was the slang for child molester, and it really, really complexly and gorgeously shows all these really vile actions and all these really noble actions that happen when people are forced in closed together. Like, there's a moment in the movie. I've seen the movie. I haven't read the play yet. When I get money, the play is going to be one of the first things I get. Um,
Yeah, I hear that. Money's hard.
yeah, money doesn't exist. I don't believe in money. Um, but
But
there,
I'm sorry.
go
Continue.
on, go on, go on.
Well, okay. If we that's really interesting about prison, but again, like in Gears of War, I think Gears of War kind of resembles Tim O'Brien's The Things That Carried, because the whole time you meet new people, and I know the things they carried. They had things that carried that described
Well,
who they were and how their actions were, but I think they were trying to do that. You know, new character comes in.
I'll
You know, you got Baird, kind of like
I'll talk
he's
about the
like,
things they carried later and how that relates to Gears of War. Right
okay.
now, I don't think that comparison's apt. Because
Well,
well,
we're focusing on only one part of the game, which is the prison.
yeah, we're focusing on let's focus on the prison for now.
Well, yeah. Let's focus on the prison. But does that one scene in the prison like describe the whole character of
No,
Marcus?
it doesn't. It doesn't describe the whole character of Marcus. What troubles me is that prison's a complex place. Prison's a really complex, interesting place.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, and this is something that doesn't come up again in his character. Like, he doesn't talk about the time he was incarcerated.
I believe maybe. I think the second game he only mentions it once, but you're right.
Yeah,
It's just a little line of text, and then let's go shoot some more locusts. Um, well, how would like to see it be portrayed, the prison? Do you want him to talk about the day where he almost dropped the soap and that kind of scarred him, or you
I'll
want
talk about that. Let's take another quick break, and we'll talk about it when we get back.